What's the difference between a major and minor key? How can we as musicians be able to identify them in music, and why is it important for you as a musician to be able to understand and develop this skill? These questions and many more will be answered in today's episode of Sax Saturday, so stay tuned. Welcome back to Sax Saturday, guys. Sorry it's been such a long time. I also apologize for the awkward framing of this video. This is quite frankly, to be honest, this is a last minute recording, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I got an episode up this week since it's been such a long time, and since I have the content for it planned out, I just got to record it. This episode is going to introduce a bunch of new concepts and ideas into Sax Saturday that I'm excited to show you. The first one, of course, being what you just heard is the jingle. And then also I'm going to start ranking each video on a scale of 1 to 5 as far as how difficult the lessons or concepts will be to introduce as a saxophonist or as a musician in general. So obviously a 5 being a skill that really only master saxophonists really are able to do really good at. And then a 1 is obviously something that you could do as soon as you buy your saxophone. So most of the skills will probably be 2s or 3s, just to start off with the simple stuff and then work on it and be more complex. If I'm being honest, probably won't be making any level 5 or 4 videos for a bit. I mean, I could probably make a couple of level 4 videos. I have been playing since the 5th grade, but I'm by no means a master or professional. There's still plenty for me to learn. So there's that. There is the jingle that you just heard. Each episode is, I used to do them free scripted. I'm trying to work on developing scripts more so that way they're more natural, because when I do it, pretty much record it live like this and then do it on for the first couple of takes, there's a lot of stuttering, and then I usually end up re-recording and deleting old videos, and that's just a much more lengthy process than normal. So even though I said in earlier videos that I wasn't going to be using scripts, I'm probably going to start switching to scripts. So if you notice a shift in how I talk, that's the reason why. This video is of course unscripted. That's just a heads up. The next video most likely will be scripted. And then I really want to make the types of Sax Saturday videos that you guys want to see. So if you have any questions about playing the saxophone or just questions about music in general, please let me know down in the comment section down below so I can work into making that into a full-fledged video. Today's video is obviously about the differences between a major and minor key. Welcome back to Sax Saturday, guys. Sorry it's been such a long time. I also apologize for the awkward framing of this video. This is quite frankly, to be honest, this is a last minute recording, but I wanted to go ahead and make sure that I got an episode up this week since it's been such a long time, and since I have the content for it planned out, I just got to record it. This episode is going to introduce a bunch of new concepts and ideas into Sax Saturday that I'm excited to show you. The first one, of course, being what you just heard is the jingle. And then also I'm going to start ranking each video on a scale of 1 to 5 as far as how difficult the lessons or concepts will be to introduce as a saxophonist or as a musician in general. So obviously a 5 being a skill that really only master saxophonists really are able to do really good at. And then a 1 is obviously something that you could do as soon as you buy your saxophone. So most of the skills will probably be 2s or 3s, just to start off with the simple stuff and then work on it and be more complex. If I'm being honest, probably won't be making any level 5 or 4 videos for a bit. I mean, I could probably make a couple of level 4 videos. I have been playing since the 5th grade, but I'm by no means a master or professional. There's still plenty for me to learn. So there's that. There is the jingle that you just heard. Each episode is, I used to do them free scripted. I'm trying to work on developing scripts more so that way they're more natural, because when I do it, pretty much record it live like this and then do it on for the first couple of takes, there's a lot of stuttering, and then I usually end up re-recording and deleting old videos, and that's just a much more lengthy process than normal. So even though I said in earlier videos that I wasn't going to be using scripts, I'm probably going to start switching to scripts. So if you notice like a shift in how I talk, that's the reason why. This video is of course unscripted, that's just a heads up. The next video most likely will be scripted. And then I really want to make the types of Sax on Saturday videos that you guys want to see. So if you have any questions about playing the saxophone or just questions about music in general, please let me know down in the comment section down below so I can work into making that into a full-fledged video. Today's video is obviously about the differences between a major and minor key and what they mean in music. Right about now above my head, or to this right there, you should see timestamps. They're not clickable, but they will tell you where about in the video, roughly, I talk about each thing, because this video is going to be broken down into more of chapters. My goals in this video are to talk about the difference between major and minor, right? The difference between the key signature and the scale, because you have like the A major key signature and then you also have like the A major scale. They're extremely similar, but the wording is slightly different, so talk about that. I also want to talk about the difference between a relative minors and relative majors and parallel minors and parallel majors, because those are two pieces of terminology that I see people get mixed up a lot. And then I also want to talk about like the different relationships between different major scales and minor scales and the different notes and stuff that they use. So today that means that I'll also be talking about the circle of fifths and going into a little bit more depth in that as well. I'll be playing some of these scales. I won't play all of them, but I will play some of them. And then of course there's the song of the video, or the song of the day, or the song of the week that I do every Sax on Saturday. We got that coming up. And then I'm probably going to also talk about how my solo is going for solo and ensemble. I was going to record a video each week so that you can see my progress go forward, but I've just had a lot of difficulties with technology, and I haven't been able to practice that as much as I would like to, and then also recording on top of that, and then a bunch of like schoolwork and stuff like that. So I haven't really gotten a chance to do that, but I will record me playing a snippet of my solo, and then on top of that, I'll also have a song of the week. So those are all things to look forward to in this video. This is already a pretty long intro, so I'll go ahead and end it here, and I'll get started into the first thing that I have listed up on that timestamp. Okay, so here I have this luxurious keyboard set to play piano music. All right. The differences between a major and minor key or scale or song can really be boiled down to two different things: what you hear and what you see. I'm going to use this piano to demonstrate the differences in what you hear. I'm going to now play a chord followed by a scale. I'll do this twice, and I want you to tell me which of the two you think is major and which of the two you think is minor. Let me know down in the comment section what you think, and then go back and edit it later and change it, or tell me if you were right all along. All right. This is option number 1. Sorry about that. Major or minor? This is option number 2. Major or minor? 1. I'll play 1 in different octaves. Doesn't sound very in tune. And I'll play 2 in different octaves. Okay, so hopefully you are able to tell by those different playings which one was major and which one was minor. The major one is the one that sounded more bright, the minor one was the one that sounded more dark. Ignoring the fact that the keyboard is slightly out of tune on different notes, I'm not sure what's causing that. It might be because I'm using the wrong power source. I kind of just found a random plugin that would fit to record this part of the video, so maybe once I find the right chord for it, it'll sound a lot better. But now that I've given you time to think about it, the first one that you heard was C, E, G, or C major. It was also the C major scale. The second one that you heard was A, C, E, or the A minor chord, and I played the A minor scale. Now, if you notice, the reason why I chose C major and A minor is because both of these scales only use the white keys. And I did that for a specific reason, because that is going to allow us to see something much cooler once we get into the visual side of it. Now, the first part of the visual aspect I can actually show you right here on the keyboard. If you looking at the C major scale, for example, you start with C. The very next note is D. This is a whole step. The reason why is because this is a half step. If it's the very next key that you play, it's a half step. If you skip a key, it's a whole step. This includes black keys and white keys. So from C to D is a whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step, and then back to whole step. Okay. Now, starting on A, you have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step, whole step, whole step. What really makes the A minor scale sound so different from the C major scale is the spacing between the whole steps and the half steps in their specific order. This sort of explains why their chords also sound minor and major. If you look at C major, for example, C, D, E, the spacing between C to E is a major third. If you look at the A minor chord, instead, A, C, E, the spacing between A and C is a minor third. Now those are both minor third and major third. Those are both types of note intervals, and I can explain a little bit more and go into a little bit more depth in that. In fact, I can actually make a whole video on that if that's something that you guys would like in the future. Just let me know in the comments section down below. But for now, I'm going to move on to the next part of explaining the difference between major and minor. So I have written on this piece of paper the notes in each of the scales. The top one is C major, starts on C, ends on C, and the bottom one is A major, starts with A and ends with A. If you haven't caught on yet, both of the scales use all of the exact same notes. And like I said before, the biggest difference between the top one and the bottom one is where they start and how they sound. A minor sounds minor because of the order of whole steps and half steps, and C major sounds C major because of the order of the half steps and whole steps. The cool thing, though, is if you bring this A back, so if you fill in the notes before A with G, F, E, D, C, and you start this pattern over here on C, you'll notice that they're actually the exact same. A minor is the exact same thing as C major, except for you start with a different spot. The tonic, or the starting note in C majors, is of course C, and the tonic for A minor is A. And there is a reason behind this. If you are in choir or if you're a singer, you probably have heard of something called solfege. The first note in C major is Do. The first note in A minor is La. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. La, ti, do. There's your do. There's your do. Sing the rest. Re, mi, fa, so, la. Starts in la, ends on la, starts in do, ends on do. It is because of this that it sounds so different. In fact, when you play a minor scale, it should feel, part of it should feel like it wants to resolve to do. Like when you, especially if you start on do. Let me give you an example. So, we just talked about how A is actually La, C is Do. Do, re, mi, fa, so, la, ti, do. All right. Do, ti, la. There's A, there's C. If you play C major, do, re, mi, fa, so, la, and you stop there, it feels incomplete. It wants to go back to do. It is not, however, the most incomplete sound that you can create. The most incomplete sound that you can create is to actually start on T, is to actually stop on T, because T is known as the leading tone. It wants to resolve to do. And that would sound like this. For me, that's actually kind of painful to hear that and not for it to resolve to do. I can deal with it with the minor one, though. You can tell that it still needs to go somewhere, but it's still okay the way it is. And so that's sort of how you create, that's one of the ways that the minor sound is created. Because when you play a minor scale, for example, A minor, you hear all of the notes in C major. You hear all of the qualities. The intervals are the same. It's all the white keys. The half steps and whole steps are the same. You're just starting and ending in a different place.
A few moments later.
And since C is the leading tone, the interval between it and D must be a minor second. It needs to be this half-step relationship. So this has to be C sharp in the D major scale. Now, something really cool with moving up and down the circle of fifths is the sharps maintain themselves. So here, you have to have an F sharp to make that a half step. Here you have to have a C sharp. But in order to maintain the half step and whole step relationship, you still have to have two sharps instead of one. And figuring out the other sharp that you have to have in this key signature or the scale is actually quite easy. The other sharp that you have to have is the F sharp from here. The sharps always add up, going all the way to the 7 sharps. And they add up in the exact same reason. Memorizing the order of sharps and flats will help you tremendously in your journey as a musician, right? So you have F sharp, you have G sharp, no, that's wrong. You have C sharp, then you have G sharp, then you have D sharp, then you have A sharp, then you have E sharp, then you have B sharp, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. B is the last sharp to be added. There is a pattern here. A, F, G, A, B, C, D, E. there is a rhyme and reason to it. Now, in order to play D sharp correctly, like we've just established, or not D sharp, but D major correctly, you have to have not only the C sharp, but also the F sharp. So, if you play it without any sharps or flats, you're going to get this. Which isn't exactly correct. It's another thing to note, and I'll go ahead and tell you this since I've been playing the major tonic chord with all of these, because D is not the D scale isn't just D, F, G, that's minor. It's actually D, F sharp, A. Sorry, I called that G earlier, that's an A. So, it's not D, F, A, because the scale requires that you have an F sharp. It has to be played like this, okay? This is actually D minor, because the D minor scale, or the D minor key signature, does not have F sharp. It's important to note. Now that you know how key signatures work and how sharps work, the flats work the exact same way. When you play F major has one flat, that's B flat. The reason why it has to be B flat is because that's in order to maintain the integrity of the half step, whole step relationship. F major is, where's my F? There's my F. Playing it incorrectly, all white keys sounds like this. It's not how it's supposed to be played. It is actually played this note right here, B. Now, in order to raise a note, in order to get a sharp, you go up. So C is B sharp, just like this is F and this is F sharp. So, in order to get B flat, you have to lower it. You lower B flat for the same reason as you would, of course, lower B flat, the same reason in the F major scale, the same reason as you would raise F to F sharp in the G major scale. It's to maintain this relationship. All right, I just wanted to go over flats. Make sure that you all know that the same process that you do with flats is the exact same with sharps. It's just the location of the interval changes slightly different. And when in doubt, you can always just check the interval to see if each one is truly a half step or a whole step when identifying which notes you've raised or lowered in a given key or scale. Now, if you've noticed, there are little letters underneath the big letters. All natural, all white keys. C major turns into A minor. Right? G major turns into E sharp minor. No, G major turns into just regular E minor. D major, B minor. A major, F minor. E major, C sharp minor, and so on. These are the relative minors, right? The parallel majors and minors would be, for example, C major and C minor is E flat major. A minor and A major is F minor. This is probably the more confusing one, but basically all you have to know is that the relative minor for C major is A minor, right? If you make C major into its parallel minor, you're essentially making C minor, which has 3 flats, and it's the same thing as E flat major. It's just starting on C instead. A good way to figure this out, it's a good way to figure out what the relative minor is to just start, say, on C, and then go back the amount of half steps it takes to get to La. So this is Do. This would be Ti. This would be La. It's 1. So 1, 2, 3. It's 3 half steps back. So C major, the relative minor, is going to be A minor. D major, the relative minor is going to be 1, 2, 3. The relative minor for D major is B. You can check that. And it is, because it is the law for that scale. Now, the parallel majors or minors, how you figure out that C major, how you figure out that the minor version of C major is the exact same thing as E flat major, is a bit trickier, but this is how I do it. A major scale is really the same thing as a minor scale. The difference is the minor scale has a lowered third, a lowered sixth, and a lowered seventh. Which makes sense because E flat major has 3 flats. And if you take C major, which has 0 flats or sharps, and you lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh, you've created 3 flats. And those 3 flats happen to be the same 3 flats as E flat major. Look at A flat major. A flat major has 4 flats, and it is also F minor. Well, if you lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh, you add 3 flats. So if you take away 3 flats from this, you get 1. And what do you know it? The F major version of F minor has only 1 flat. And that's the easiest way to do that, in my opinion. There are a couple of different scales that are also minor. So you have the main minor scale, known as the natural minor scale, which is basically taking the major scale, such as C major, and lowering the third, the sixth, and the seventh. This is another way that you can create the minor scale. You can create it by making it into A minor, moving it back to La, or you can lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh, and this is how you get the parallel to E flat or C minor. If you do it this way, lowering the third and the sixth and the seventh, or if you raise the third and sixth and seventh in A minor, you get A major, right? This relationship for this specific minor scale is the natural minor. There's also the harmonic minor, which is a lowered third and sixth, and then a raised seventh. This is often used in like haunted music or like spooky music. I've also seen it used in some Middle Eastern music occasionally. It sounds really cool in my opinion, but not everyone likes it. And then there's also the melodic minor scale, which is a lowered third, a raised sixth and seventh going up, and then a natural minor scale going down. I'll play you examples of those. So, C major scale is, of course, right? Now, the C minor scale is going to have a lowered third, sixth, and seventh. So, C minor. C harmonic minor is going to have a lowered third, a lowered sixth, but a raised seventh. And that's going to sound like this. In my opinion, I really like the harmonic minor scale. It's actually my favorite and preferred one out of the different types. However, it's a very controversial opinion and a lot of people don't like that sound. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of the harmonic minor scale, if you have a positive or negative opinion of it. And then there's, of course, the melodic minor, which is the most interesting one because it's so different. You have you only lower the third going up, and then you lower everything going down. So that's going to sound like this. And that is the difference. That's pretty much everything as far as the differences between the major and minor scales. Hopefully I didn't go too fast for you guys on that one. If you have any questions, please let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can and answer them to the best of my ability. I need to hurry up and finish recording this video because my natural lighting's starting to run out pretty quickly. So for this section of the video, I will be playing a small section of the song that I'm going to be playing for solo and ensemble this year. Note that I will be actually playing solo and ensemble on the baritone saxophone, not the alto saxophone, so it's going to sound considerably different. And I checked the date wrong. I thought it was this Saturday, but it's actually next Saturday, so I got like a whole week to practice still, which is great because I definitely need it. But yeah, so I figured I would just play you a section of it, because I did say in my last Saxophone Saturday video that I would do this every Saxophone Saturday. I also said that I was going to do it weekly, but you know, I made another one eventually, that you're watching right now. So this is, I'm going to play my favorite section of the song, but it also happens to be the hardest section of the song, so you know, please bear with me. It's a work in progress. I'm a lot better at it now than I was when I first started, I can say that for sure. But and what I just played was that right there. Hopefully you can see that clearly. I can't tell if you can or not because I didn't want to stop recording just to flip the camera and then stop recording again and then flip the camera. I mean, that'd be kind of I might actually have to do that when I look at that. When I start editing, I might have to record a new clip there and, you know, splice them out. But if there was just two really weird jump cuts there, it was because what I just did didn't work, and I had to go back and change it. Hopefully, though, there wasn't any jump cuts there. And where's the camera? There's the camera. Now I'm looking at you guys. All right, next up, I will have the weekly song to play, and then that'll be it for Saxophone Saturday. So this video is almost over. I just got the song and then the outro, and then you know, you can finally leave it. Finally set you free. Okay. That song's coming right up. Hello, welcome to the final part of Saxophone Saturday. Thank you for bearing with me so far on this video. I know there's a lot of new things that I'm still trying to figure out, but I think it went pretty well so far. I'm going to go ahead and give my closing comments and play the last song. I'll do the closing comments first, so that way the last thing that you hear and see and enjoy is me playing this song. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment down below what you'd like to see for me to do in the future, any questions that you have, or any songs that you would like me to play. Especially remember to like this video if you enjoyed it, because it's going to help the algorithm let other people find the video and enjoy it as well. And if you didn't enjoy it, like Saikyo-kun says, like the video anyway, so that way your enemies see it. After all, any video liked helps other people find it. Without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and play this song. It needs little introduction. It's such an amazing song. It was very popular on the radio for a while, and this song means a lot to me, so hopefully you'll enjoy it.